Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Rebecca Kay, and I am so glad that you could join me this morning for my daily spiritual practice. Well, on Fridays, I always have a word for the week for you. And this is a word that's been bubbling up for me in my mind, in my life. And the word for this week is steps. Many of us have been sheltering in place in one way or another for the last 2 years. And I started to think about maybe it's time for us to take some steps. And the meaning of the word steps is an act or movement of putting one leg in front of the other in walking or running. Our reading for this morning is from Live in Grace, Walk in Love by Bob Joff. And it is entitled, Don't Worry About All the Steps. Begin. And Bob begins with a Bible verse from Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Bob writes, have you ever run a marathon? Me neither. I have some friends who have done it, and I've learned a lot about life from what they experienced. They say that they feel like their bodies are going to shut down at multiple points in the race. So they just keep moving. When they stop by the tables with water or orange slices, they keep moving. Some say they get a little delusional at certain points and sometimes feel an unexplainable sense of euphoria. All the friends I've asked say that they couldn't think too far ahead when they felt like they were falling apart. In other words, they couldn't think about mile 22 when they were on mile 21 because it was too overwhelming. They had to focus on putting one foot in front of the other and repeating this until they finally crossed the finish line. I think the same is true for most of us when we start a new project or pivot to a new direction in our lives. We can do our best to plan and train, but once we're in the race, all we can do is be present in the moment. We won't know what needs to happen at mile 22 until we get there. Some people delight in this, but most spend too much time, energy feeling anxious about a mile marker they haven't yet reached. Does that sound like you? Usually the things we worry about the most don't happen anyway. We fear there will be a disaster, only to find balloons when we arrive. Take heart. If we're diligent and thoughtful each step of the way, we don't have to fret over the contingencies down the road. We don't think about what we don't want to happen. We think about what we do want to happen, and we trust it will work out in the end. And so this morning, as we go into our meditation, I'd like to ask you, what's your next step? And when will you take it? I invite you to just gently close your eyes. Sink into whatever's beneath you. That sofa, that chair, that bed. Just let it take your weight. Feel it supporting you. Take a deep breath in and let your shoulders drop. Loosen your neck. Feel yourself wrapped in warmth. Feel yourself wrapped in love. Knowing that your next steps are the perfect steps for you. And now is the time. I ask you to open your heart. Just feel the wisdom that's waiting there for you. I ask you to notice that we have stepped into high consciousness, that place where we prepare our minds for the best that life has to offer. And that comes to us in the form of a next step. Just feel yourself surrendering, opening deeper and deeper, allowing and listening for whatever the message is for you. The message right here, right now, waiting for you as you are deeply connected. And so as you sit in the silence, let Spirit guide you to what the next step is and to what the perfect timing for that step is. For you are always divinely guided. What is your next step? And are you ready to take it now? What is your next step? And when will you take it? What is your next step, and when will you take it? What is your next step? And are you ready to take it? What is your next step? And are you ready to take it? And so, as our journey comes to a close, we send great thanks to the universe for allowing this time for us to present our requests to the universe, knowing that the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, is guarding our hearts and our minds, guiding our next steps, for Spirit always goes before us to make the crooked places straight. So I invite you back into this time and space, into your personal room. I thank you for being a light in the world, for beginning your day with a daily spiritual practice. I'm Reverend Rebecca Kay, here at the Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. I hope that you'll join us on Sunday morning, and I will be with you next Wednesday with Points to Ponder. Have a wonderful weekend. I send you much love and many blessings. Thank you.